What's good, boys and girls? Good to have you back and welcome the 250 new subscribers over the last week. So, listen, Dubai was a nice, refreshing break for Arsenal, and they really let their shoulders down, did a lot of things. We saw them eating in the middle of the desert, riding camels, dancing to all the local music and the folk songs there, and it was a really good rest for those guys. But we do have some news from there as well in regards to moving up to the Newcastle game. There's quite a few changes in regards to the players who are going to be available. Now, Arteta says that Pablo Mari should be available next week, not this weekend, because he's carrying a minor injury. So that means that they're not really going to push him into the fray, which I thought was going to be the case. It seems that he just wants to make sure he's got his sharpness back and that he's got his game intelligence and game speed back before he throws him in, which is a shame because it would have been really nice to see him in front of the home fans this weekend, and they'll be really looking forward to seeing that. Even further away, though, is Cedric Soares. Cedric Soares has had a bit of a setback, so he's going to be delayed at least another 2 or 3 weeks. By my calculations, I wouldn't expect to see him till another month or so. So you're looking at the end of March on that one. And also, Kieran Tierney is making really good, speedy recovery. Arteta saying he's another couple of weeks away from match fitness. So again, another 2 to 3 weeks from Kieran Tierney. So realistically, a little bit sad that we're not going to see Mari in the Newcastle game. So, that's a little bit of a shame. But listen, we go with what we can do. And Newcastle, on top of that, they had a little bit of a bad run. They had 3-4 losses in a row, but they've come back on the back end of 3 good victories. So it's going to be quite of a challenge. And look, it always is. I say this all the time. Everybody is up for playing Arsenal at the Emirates now that they know they can get a result from them. And when I say a result, I'm talking at least a draw, because Arsenal's only won one in their last 9 games, but they're unbeaten in their last 5. So look, man, it's good. It's a tough time, and this is why I say back your team, because we got to get behind these guys. Newcastle's going to be a real big challenge, but I still think, guys, that we'll be able to take them, and I am going for a 2-0 home win as far as Newcastle goes. But the other news that's came out of Dubai is we've been hearing so much things on transfers, guys. Come on, man. January is gone. Left us last month. No transfer window. And all we're hearing, Arsenal's been in contact with this player. Arsenal's been in contact with that player. Come on, guys. Transfer window don't open again until until July. So it's really strange what's going on here. In all accounts, I have talked to a few agents this week, and they have said, look, most of these rumors are not true, in terms of who we've been linked with, everything you see in the paper. I know that they were talking to Pape in January, so although people are talking about it now, it's kind of old news. It was a couple of weeks ago that they were talking to him, so it's just now they're really finding out about that. So it's just really finding out what's going on now and what's the truths. And look, guys, the fact of the matter is there's going to be a lot of ins and outs in the summer, and Arteta's going to be really creative, as well as with Edu, in order to facilitate the amount of players that they're going to need, because we know he's not been happy with the way how the team is set up. Arteta knows that this team hasn't been able to get it done. They have been lazy, and he wants players with high work rate, high commitment, and players who are disciplined enough to follow what he needs to do as far as his philosophy goes. And if I'm honest, yes, I love the way that players have adapted into that role, but they still have a long way to go. And some players are just never going to be able to be what Arteta needs them to be. And we're not going to mention any names. Let's just say that Arteta has a vision of players that he wants to bring in the summer. So there's going to be wholesale changes. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of players going, and there's going to be a lot of players coming in. So we really ain't going to have to worry about money as far as that goes, because we might not be looking at Ryan Fraser, but Ryan Fraser has made us his preferred team. So, he's made it clear that Arsenal is his first choice if anything happens. Some of the rumours are just rumours. Some of them are true, because if you look at what Santi Cazorla is saying now, Santi's a man that he's not an agent, plays for Villarreal. Santi Cazorla has come out and specifically said in Spain that he has talked to Arteta and Edu about Pau Torres, who's 23 years old, and Samuel, who's 20 years old. And these players are talking about coming over to Arsenal. And, you know, for him to come out and say that, well, you don't even really need to worry about media and rumors and things like that, because the man has just come out and said it straight from the horse's mouth. That's just two players, two very young players, two very young, hard-working players. And I think that this is where Arteta wants to go. That's his wheelhouse. You know, so much things are happening now. They are going to be looking to crunch some money together. But at the same time, they have to tie down a few deals. This Guendouzi deal was offered about 4 months ago, and he still is relatively new in terms of signing it. The Reece Nelson deal, now that hasn't been signed. And Saka, remember, is on a short leash. So they're looking at tying Saka down to a long-term deal. So there's still a lot of work to be done from that respect. And Reece Nelson's come out and said, look, you know, he believes that Arteta can turn him into the next Raheem Sterling. He's worked wonders with Sane and Sterling at Manchester City. And again, those players have mentioned Arteta by name. They haven't said it's Pep Guardiola. They've said Arteta was the man that gave them props and improved their game. So we expect that to have some level. And we talked about Pepe Martinelli, haven't we? And we talked about Saka. But Reece Nelson would be the biggest beneficiary to any of that happening, because the man has had strong form before his hamstring injury. And I know he's started running again, but I think he too will be short this weekend. Kieran Tierney, again, we've been told that the tendon is really soft and is quite weak. And he's going to need a little bit more time for that to heal as well. So, look, I think that we're going to probably go with what's been working against Newcastle. We'll have to factor in the fact that we have players who can score but just haven't really been able to hit the back of the net. We're in front of the home fans, so home support's going to be strong on Sunday. And yeah, listen, I'm just going to lay my cards on the table right here. So I'm going to go with Leno in goal. I'm going to go with Bellerin right back. I'm going to have to go with Mustafi. Sorry, guys. I know he's a serial offender, but let's just say coming off of Burnley, it was a really good display by him. It's hit or miss whether he can show us what he did in the last game and put together two back-to-back solid performances. This is his chance to shine, I guess. So I'm sure he's going to have the fan support behind him. He's going to be next to David Luiz. And I believe, obviously, because of the situation of Kieran Tierney, although Kolasinac is back at left back, although I will go with Saka again. He's been such a strong performer. As I said, 7 assists. That's a very strong outing. Twice as much as Kolasinac has had at that position. And I just think he gives you a little bit of that more burst, a little bit that more closing down and box-to-box wing-back display. I think he can give you both, whereas Kolasinac can only give you that wing-back display, although he's been solid this year as well. Midfield sets itself, really. I'm going to go with Xhaka and I'm going to go with Torres as the two holding. But I am going to change, like I did in the last game, and say Dani Ceballos has to play in at the number 10 and increase the level of intensity and creativity at that role. So I expect him to go in there. The front three, I'm going to have to go with Pepe on the right. I'm going to have to go with, I think I'll go with Martinelli, and I'll go with Aubameyang as well. I would actually like to see Eddie Nketiah start at the point. It's just something fresh, something new, and I wouldn't want to see Lacazette after going 9 games without a goal. I would like to see Eddie run himself silly for 60 minutes, and then the last half an hour, Lacazette come on and show us why he deserves to start. And his home record as well. Remember what I said about Lacazette? 12 of his last 13 goals have come from home inside the Emirates. So I would play him in the last half an hour where he's got a point to prove. He wouldn't want to be dropped. Yeah, remember, we've got the Euros coming up and everything, so I'm sure he'll want to play and show that he deserves to be in France. He hasn't really held down that French spot as much as he would like to. Giroud is 33 years old now, so, you know, it would be his last chance. That is, if they will even play him. So I would expect a lot of competition there. But guys, I would really change it up a little bit. And that includes Ceballos and Eddie Nketiah. I would put those guys into start and just freshen it up. And if Ozil comes on in the 60th or 70th minute, and if Lacazette can come on, maybe they can show us something that we're missing. Maybe they can show us a reason why they should be starting. I know Arteta likes to go with an experienced side, but look, at some point you have to be taking some chances in order to get the goals, because the goals just haven't been coming outside of Aubameyang and Martinelli. We're just not getting enough support. So I believe that that will really help the team. Yes, it's a ballsy call to go for Nketiah, but guys, he can play at any level. There's no doubt about it. And who would bet against Eddie Nketiah not scoring at home against Newcastle? Who would do that? I wouldn't put money on it. I think he would definitely be favourite to score. And I'll be there at the Emirates on Sunday. And listen, I'll catch up with you guys there. Thanks again. Like and subscribe to the channel as always. Right back at you, and peace out, guys. Nice one.